President Biden made his first stop in a Republican stronghold today, traveling to Lake Charles, Louisiana, to pitch his $2 trillion American Jobs Plan. For a backdrop, the president chose a 70-year-old bridge that was long overdue for renovation. That's where he laid out his plan for investing in traditional infrastructure like roads, bridges, and water systems, while also investing in human infrastructure, all while creating millions of jobs.
If we just were to make sure that we had the tax rate for the top rate in America for income tax, what it was in the Bush administration, it would go from 36 to 39.6%. Well, guess what? That would raise a minimum of $10 billion a year. No one's hurt. Someone making that money is still going to have 2 homes or a jet plane, or these are mostly millionaires. They're not going to be hurt a little bit. But we're going to be able to put tens of thousands of kids in preschool and in free community college. What's going to help America more? Increase the educational standard of all Americans so they have 14 years of school from 2 years of 3 and 5 year olds, 3, 4, and 5 years old. We show that that happens if they not go to daycare, they go to school. No matter what the background of the home they come from, they catch up. Not surprisingly, critics say they're worried that I'm going to stunt economic growth by raising taxes on corporations and wealth. There's just one problem with their argument: the facts. Experts have looked at it. The last time taxes were around the rates I'm proposing was in the 90s, and the economy boomed. America created 20 million new jobs in 8 years when these were the tax rates. And the fact are, the American economy has had record job creation and growth under the same kind of plan I'm proposing. And here's why. Our economy has always done best when everyone pays their fair share. Again, I'm looking to punish anybody. I'm looking to rebuild America as a world leader. I'm going to look to make sure we have the best and most significant infrastructure in the world. It's time to grow this economy from the bottom up and the middle out.
Joe Biden really wants me to get some aviator shades. I think that was what that video was supposed to do for us. Look at all we can accomplish if everyone pays their fair share, is what he said there at the end. And that's really the crux of Biden's message here. While his plan has been relentlessly bashed by congressional Republicans, Biden does have 2 things working in his favor. For one, a majority of the country supports the plan. And 2, we're coming off the heels of a pandemic that's highlighted the stark income and wealth inequality in the country. Taxing people who make more than $400,000 a year sounds pretty convincing when you're talking to a country filled with people who may have seen a decrease in their income, while that top 1% got richer. Joining me now is Mark Morial, President and CEO of the National Urban League and the former mayor of New Orleans, Louisiana. Mark, thank you so much for being here.
Always, Zerlina. Thank you.
So why do you think the president chose to go to a traditionally red state to sell his infrastructure plan? What do you think the strategy is here?
Well, I think he wanted to showcase a city, Lake Charles, Louisiana, a medium-sized city, a city which is a blue city in a red state, to showcase how desperately needed the infrastructure investment he's proposing could be. That bridge is a bottleneck on the Interstate 10 system. That bridge connects Houston and the communities of southeastern Texas, Beaumont, Orange, Port Arthur, the Port of Houston, the Houston Airport, with the I-10 system, and with southwestern Louisiana, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans. And so the residents of that region have been complaining loudly about that bridge for many, many decades because it's a poor design, it's an antiquated design, it's a bottleneck, and it is a problem. So I think the president is being smart. He says, I am going to bring my message everywhere. I'm not going to just bring it to blue states. I'm going to go to red states. I'm going to go to a blue city in a red state to showcase how the infrastructure plan could benefit all 50 states in the nation. And as I heard him make his arguments are spot on, because what he is basically saying is this is a plan for the majority, for the supermajority of American people. This is a plan that seeks to reverse this this notion that economic growth comes top down, and it comes, as he said, bottoms up and from the middle out. And that's a very important argument for him to make because it's consistent with what I believe, with what the National Urban League believes, and what the reality of economic growth is all about. The second thing, the Biden plan matches the recommendations that the National Urban League has made for the last 5 to 7 years, and that is we need a 21st century infrastructure plan to match the 21st century. It is about roads, bridges, airports, and rails, but it's about water. It's about the electric grid. It's about addressing the digital divide through broadband, and it is about human infrastructure investing in people. So this plan, and I think what we see the president doing is, frankly, taking a page out of the old Reagan playbook, which is I'm going to travel the country, I'm going to talk to the people, I'm going to visit communities, and I'm going to showcase how, in fact, this plan will help communities and help people, and I'm going to go directly to the people. So I encourage the president to continue doing what he's doing. The most important thing for people to recognize is that that plan in its boldness and in its breadth is exactly what this nation needs coming out of this pandemic, and also after a long period where so many communities have been redlined, locked out, and left out.
And on the flip side of that point is the folks that are getting rich, really rich and richer during this pandemic. The voting public actually is like, yes, please raise the taxes on those people who are super rich, and then invest into people and into the country. Historically, Democratic presidents have been a little hesitant to quite put it that directly. But Joe Biden actually seems to be going for it in exactly those terms. Does that surprise you at all? Do you think that that's a message that is plain spoken enough to break through so that folks understand how this bill helps them?
This is the Joe Biden that I've known. I mean, Joe Biden is a down-to-earth person who's always championed the working class and the middle class. And I think his arguments are exactly right. I mean, I am sort of weary of wealthy Americans whining while they talk to their sophisticated accountants and lawyers. I'm frankly weary of major corporations who are able to manipulate the tax code so that their tax bill is zero. This is about fairness, about everyone paying a fair amount. It is about ending the ability to use loopholes by investing abroad. These sensible things, I believe when the public hears the specifics, they certainly will recognize it. What the GOP is doing, Zerlina, they've gone into a closet. They've gotten an old beat up, worn out suit. It's the old beat up, worn out suit of deficits and tax increases. And they're trying to replay an old record, an old vinyl record, and let the record show that for the last 4 years, when Donald Trump was in office, no one cared about deficits. Big tax cuts took place and added to the deficit. And we heard from conservative economists, deficits don't matter. We heard from conservative commentators that dynamic scoring will allow this tax cut to pay for itself. What happened to all those arguments? They are discredited. And I am going to call out the hypocrisy on economic and fiscal policy that has long held sway in this country. For 40 years, these tax cuts have been sold as benefiting the middle class, and they've all been skewed to benefit the wealthiest Americans and the wealthiest interests in the country. And that's why we've got a lopsided tax code, and we've got a wide gap between the Americans that have the most and the average working American. And Joe Biden is saying, look, let's change the way we do economic policy. All of these stories
Right.
that, quote unquote, the economy is going to be interrupted and destroyed, it's all poppycock, it's all crocodile tears, it's all an effort to divert away from a very popular initiative.
Hi, I'm Zerlina Maxwell. Thanks for checking out our channel on YouTube. You can see more from Zerlina by clicking any of the videos on this screen, and make sure you subscribe below to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Thanks for watching.